Thank you for watching the Shikama Life Show with your host Shikama. So recently, people have been discovering my channel, and it's not my normal subscribers. At least I don't think they're my normal subscribers. Because they're all super leftist socialists who are all for Bernie Sanders. And one of the key criticisms that they have for me is that I'm not giving political analysis. I'm just making videos. Well, if I wanted to do political analysis, you see, I'd go in depth into the political analysis, and you wouldn't like it anyway. But briefly, that's my famous words, briefly, because I'm not brief ever. I want to make sure that you understand my viewpoint. I want to make sure that you understand the points. Bernie Sanders is a socialist. He's not a democratic socialist. He's not a half socialist. He's not a sort of socialist. He is a socialist. What really throws me for a loop is that we have middle-class people cheering for Bernie Sanders. First of all of the programs that Bernie Sanders is talking about would supposedly be social network type of programs. Networks to actually catch those who fall in need. And those who fall in need are not the middle class. And once again, who's going to be left holding the bag? The middle class. Just like Obamacare left the middle class holding the bag, so would all of these social programs that Bernie Sanders is talking about instituting. Recently, I made a video talking about James Woods criticizing Bernie Sanders for saying that China has maternity leave and America does not. He said that America has zero maternity leave. Obviously, this is completely false because we wouldn't know what the word or the term maternity leave would be unless we in this country had it. And we do have it in the form of private companies. Just like the medical benefits, maternity leave is another benefit to attract good, hardworking, qualified applicants to corporate jobs. And people are getting this whole notion that these benefits that the companies are offering to qualified applicants is something that everybody should have. No. It's something that the companies dreamed up as a means to attract good, qualified applicants to their jobs. It is a benefit, it is not a necessity. And what's really terrible is that people are now trying to equate somebody who makes $150,000 a year and the benefits that they get with the minimum wage worker. The minimum wage worker needs no benefits because it is a skill-less job, an unskilled job, meaning anybody can do it. And when we talk about an unskilled job, an unskilled labor, and anybody can do it, that literally means that the competition for those positions is stiff, whereas the competition for the higher paying jobs is on the side of the applicant and not on the side of the employer. This is why the employer offers the benefits in the first place. They're trying to attract the worker. In an unskilled job, they're not trying to attract the worker. The worker is trying to get themselves hired because any and everybody can do the work. No benefits, nothing. Buyer's market. Highly skilled labor, advanced degree labor is a seller's market. You as the employee are the seller. I'm selling my high skills to you, the employer. You have to convince me why I should work for you. Healthcare as a benefit, paying partial amounts of your healthcare insurance as a benefit is to attract highly skilled labor. It was never intended as something for everybody. You do not have a right to healthcare. A right is something that you can exercise without imposing anything on anybody. You have a right to the freedom of speech, which means you can speak and you're not imposing anything on anybody else. You understand what a right is now? You don't have a right to marriage because you have to have a few people to help you conduct this ceremony that we expect as a society for you to do, including verification through an accredited and recognized religion. Because in fact, it is a religious ceremony. It is not a governmental ceremony. Never was. You all are getting confused as to what is a right and what is a benefit. In reality, living with a woman for 7 years is marriage. Why? Because you two are in close association with only each other in an intimate setting, and the solidification of having children is what really brings it to home. Now, regardless of the Bible being truth or lies or whatever, it does give you observations of the day. And so we have Jesus with the prostitute at the well. And she says, I have no husband. And he says, you have had many husbands. So what's the observation there? According to how we view marriage, you have had many husbands. And that was a simple observation. So you don't have to argue over whether the Bible is true or not. Just understand that that observation was there and has been there for hundreds of years. I already said that the middle class will, in fact, be left holding the bag. Now, here is information, here is news that you're not going to hear in the mainstream media. People are leaving Obamacare in droves. Voluntarily. I'm not talking about their insurance company is sending out letters canceling their policies by the millions. That's already happened. We're talking about people who were signed up under one of the bronze, silver packages or whatever and are leaving. They would rather pay the fees or the fines instead of getting the Obamacare plans. And update to that, so are companies. When you tax something, it goes away. You're creating behavior that you do not want. Why does a club charge a cover? It's not just to get money, because yeah, that's a fantastic idea. Why don't we charge $1,000 for a cover charge? The very first instance or the first level of cover charge is like, $5, $10. What are they trying to do? They're trying to erase and get rid of all of the degenerate people who would come in, lay around, do nothing, and spend no money. Business is not in the business of being a charity. Business is in the business of making money. So at the very least, they get rid of all of the people who would come in, not buy drinks, not buy anything in the club, right? Then you have the second tier. These are the clubs who have created an environment whereby they do not want riffraff. Because even when you have a cover charge of $5, you still have riffraff come in. And who are riffraff? People who barely pay anything. People who just come in and take up space. When real high-end people, clientele, could be walking through the door. So then you start charging stuff like $50, $60, $100, $200 to get through the door. And why are they doing that? It's to get rid of the riffraff. So what's the idea here? What's the point I'm trying to make? Taxation is that $100 cover charge. That's what taxation is. It gets rid of the riffraff. All of the fees. What I talk on my channel, I talk about starting business. And I also complain about the regulations that I have personally encountered in trying to start a bigger, grander scale business. And that I run into all of these regulations where I am requested to pay $500, $10,000, $20,000 just to even get to the person to pay another fee to even get all the licenses and stuff that I need to do. To even have my business name on a piece of paper. To even just get to that person. I'm not even talking about opening doors or anything like that, or paying light bill. I'm talking about paying $20,000, $30,000, have it up and ready, to then go to the person to say, okay, here's what I want the business name to be, and here's some more money for me to be able to get to then open doors, sign contracts. And what is that? That's that $100 cover charge. We want to keep as many people out. And when you are talking about Obamacare, that's what it's doing. It's actually keeping people out of healthcare. And then they get you on the flip side by saying, oh, you couldn't afford the cover charge? Well, we're going to make it mandatory that you have to pay the cover charge. I.e., we're keeping people out of healthcare, but we still want money, so we're going to make all of these fees. Where it's painful for you not to have Obamacare, but there is no comparison between paying for Obamacare and the fee. No comparison. And what have they already done? They have raised the fees. I feel like the Family Guy black woman who tells you stuff in hindsight. And what did I tell you what would happen? Exactly what happened. And when did I tell you what would happen? A long time ago. You all think Bernie Sanders is talking for you. He's not talking for you. You are the mule. The payout person is Wall Street. The payout is bigger government. He's talking about expanding government to the largest possible that we've ever seen it. You want analysis? I'll give you analysis. This is analysis. When he's talking about communist China, when he's comparing communist Russia to the United States, that should be a clue to you that you're not the intended person. Even today in communist Russia, you have filthy, McNasty billionaires. Do you not understand what's going on? How could you be supporting? This is not a socialist nation. Oh, but we have police. That's because the government took over the police. We have firemen. That's because the government took over the firemen. We have education. That's because the government took over education. It wasn't that way. We had private police, private family, firemen, private roads, private education, private. And here's something. He talks about income inequality. It's not a thing. Income inequality is not a thing. He's saying that people working should make just as much as the CEO. If I paid a writer to write my scripts, should he make as much as me? Who bought all of this equipment? Who pays all of the expenses? Who risks everything? I don't know if a video is going to go fantastic, ballistic, or anything. I don't know. I have no idea. I assume all of the risks. What does a writer assume? Nothing. What does a cashier assume at a McDonald's? He clocks in, does his cashiering. This is cashiering, apparently. Then he clocks out, goes home. 2 weeks, month, I don't know what. He gets a paycheck. And as much as he clocks in, cashiers, clocks out, he gets a paycheck. It's the owner who goes, oh my God, there was a roadblock on my street, and on Tuesday, nobody came in for 24 hours. There was a flash flood in the city. Nobody came to my business in 24 hours. I had to scramble to tell people don't come in, don't come in, don't come in. And when the police did the roadblock on the street, I had to scramble to tell them to go home, go home, go home, go home. They were making money on the clock without any clientele coming in. The clientele pays the light bills, and I assume as the business owner all the risks. Bernie Sanders is saying the cashier needs to make just as much as the owner. That's what Bernie Sanders is saying. He's saying, be emotional. You have to be emotional. Be emotional. You have to be emotional. Take the emotion out of being an actual adult in the United States of America. We're free. That means we can criticize the government. We can criticize each other without any repercussions whatsoever. We aren't thrown in jail. We aren't put to death. And as a part of that freedom, we are also free to make our money and keep it. That's what we're supposed to be. We're also free to fail. Decisions are made in life. I don't want to go to college. I'm not the college type. Decisions are made. You have people on the news who say, hey, the people who go to college, they make upwards of 40% more than the people who do not go to college. Point blank. Over the lifespan, people who go to college make $4 million more than people who do not go to college. Now that's $4 million over a lifespan. That means that you're paying all of your bills and what stuff. And out of the $4 million, you keep whatever you keep, right? Whatever you spend on shoes, you spend on cars, you spend on houses. So they are making $4 million. That means you, most likely the people listening to me. Decisions are made. If I lay down with a man and I get pregnant, decisions are made. And I cannot then whine and complain, oh, I'm a single mom. Decisions are made. And decisions are made when the good for nothing says, may I have your hand in marriage? Will you want to get married? And you don't think about it. This guy beats you. And you go along with it, go down, sign your name on the dotted line and said, yes, you're married. 2-3 years later, he leaves you because he didn't want you anyway. Decisions are made. The freedom to be successful is the same freedom to fail. And in these United States of America, the government doesn't need to put a gun to the head of the people who think about their life. Think about their life. I'm going to go to college. I want to get a profession. I'm going to go to law school. I'm going to go to med school. I'm going to go to dental school. I'm going to get a profession. I'm going to marry Susie. She comes from a good family. We're going to have the house with the white picket fence around it, 2-car garage. We're going to have the 2.3 children, and my life will be fantastic. Bernie Sanders says, no, you don't deserve that. You took the time to make good decisions about your life. We want to take the money that you make, and we want to give it to Bessie Sue, who laid down with the nearest redneck, lives in a trailer park. That was her decision. And the reality is, government doesn't take care of Bessie Sue. The money goes to Wall Street. This is what I'm trying to tell you. You think Bessie Sue gets all this money? No. And I told you, even on food stamps, each person actually probably gets $600 at the beginning. And by Wall Street taking all of their cuts, the person gets $60 in food stamps. That's the reality. You want analysis? I'm giving you analysis. You're terrible. You want to vote for an actual socialist? An actual socialist. We're not talking about people trying to just expand government just cause. We're going to raise taxes just cause. Obamacare just cause. And Obamacare does absolutely nothing for healthcare. I told you people are leaving in droves. That's what they're trying to hide you with this Kardashian and Lamar Odom crap. Lamar Odom says, stay away from me. I don't do that Twitter. I don't do that Instagram crap. I don't do TMZ. Stay away from me. That is not me. I'm trying to be private. You all will not let me alone. I didn't ask for anybody to be in my face. I tried to marry a girl that I thought liked me. And he said he's depressed that everybody's in his life. Sounds like he's suicidal because you people won't leave him alone. Oh, you just eat it all up. And in the meantime, we have Bernie Sanders over here talking about, oh, yay, unicorns, rainbows. Not the gay kind. Rainbows, unicorn. Meanwhile, Wall Street is giving him money hand over fist. That should be a red flag to all of you. But you don't want to think about that. You want to, oh, I'm so struck by what he says. He's for the people. And meanwhile, the middle class is disappearing. And under him, it'll be gone. You don't believe me? It's already gone under Obama. Do you not hear the people sounding the bell? Obama's terrible. Impeach this guy. He's destroying America. He's destroying America. I'm not libertarian. I'm not Democrat. I'm not Republican. I'm libertarian. That the fact that you cannot see this is astounding to me. You're not an adult if you can't see it. You are not an adult. And you are not American. If you want to vote for a person that's going to expand the government beyond all of our wildest imaginations. Obamacare was a huge step forward for the government. And what's really ironic is a lot of black people say, well, I got health care for the first time in my life. Negro, had you sat down before Obamacare, you could have had health care. No, I'm getting subsidy. No. You're not understanding. Healthcare is now thousands of dollars. And they say, oh, we're giving you subsidies and we're going to reduce it down to $200. Now you can get healthcare. It was $50 before. You could have afforded it before. You just don't get it. You black people, for the most part, just don't sit down with financial instruments and think about them and learn about them. Now you're forced to. Now you get them. You could have had it before for much cheaper. It's just like the gas prices. You know, they go from $7 down to $3 and people say, whew, I'm so glad I'm paying $3. It should be 50 cents, not $3. Use your mind. You have absolutely no idea what's going on. It is amazing to me. You want analysis? I'm giving you analysis. You, the middle class, will disappear under Hillary and Bernie Sanders. Thank you for watching the Shigama Live Show.